Chantal Petitclerc is going to race, it would appear, to a gold medal as Chantal Petitclerc hits the finish line in first place.
A blazing final lap, under 53 seconds flat for Chantal Petitclerc. She is such a talent at all distances, but we knew that she had the fastest finish of anyone in this field, and she proved it under 53 seconds. A great victory for this Canadian.
There's the great Chantal Petitclerc in action, winning the World Championships, one of the fastest female wheelchair racers the world has ever seen, one of the most decorated Paralympians, and well, 21 Paralympic medals to her credit. Her top speed in the chair, I was reading the other day, 36 kilometers an hour, just extraordinary. And now she's sharing all of her excellence and her experience with the members of the 2016 Paralympic team. She is the chef de mission, heading to Rio, but before that, going across the country to meet people and talk about the games and the team. And that brings her to our studio, and so great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you very much. Okay, here's the number, 193 days to go. I know. Okay. So how do you see that? Does that seem like forever out, or does that seem like it's almost here?
No, it's tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah. Because I remember being an athlete, and those last 6 months is really, you know, where you pick it up a notch. You know, you're a little more disciplined, a little lose those last few grams or kilos if you need, and just like everything needs to be perfect.
Just to peak at just the right time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of expectations. Canada did so well in England. You're on a cross-country tour. Part of it is for the athletes. What is the purpose of this trip?
Well, we came to this idea when I was appointed as chef, and we're talking about the Paralympic Games and our athletes. And we kind of realized that very often the country, you know, Canadians and the media kind of wake up at the opening ceremony of the Paralympic Games, because everything is, you know, like, and then they embrace it. And we thought, how can we make it happen so that we talk about it not only from September 7th, but a year before, and connect the local athletes with their local media. So there was kind of multi-aspect and purpose to it, but one of them is making sure that we talk about it more.
So build awareness.
Exactly.
Let us know who these athletes are and their incredible stories. But build awareness. From your competition days, has awareness increased?
Oh, absolutely.
It has.
Awareness has increased, and respect. And also kind of knowing that this is about high performance, you know. It's high performance with a story. And what we want to see, and what we see now, and we've seen it at the Toronto Parapan, is that when I was competing, you could feel that there was always room for one Paralympian, you know. Lucky for me, I was one of them. Then we had Rick Hansen, but we always had one Paralympic star. What I like to see now, and we've seen it in London, we've seen it in Toronto, is that Canadians have room in their heart and the media and their pages for, you know, wheelchair basketball, swimmers, for many Paralympic athletes, the same as Olympic athletes. And I think that's a big, big change.
Well, as we're talking, let's show some pictures of some. Part of it, I think, has been these wonderfully moving, touching awareness campaigns and the videos that the Canadian Paralympic Committee has done, for example. You know, let me get some of the slogans. The games are tough, the athletes are tougher. It's not what's missing, it's what's there. And Ireland doing something similar with more than sports. That's really important to get us thinking about this.
It is important, and it's taken years to kind of figure out what is the Paralympic brand, you know. And historically, at the beginning, a lot of people and media were really interested in the disability side of things. And then there was a movement where athletes only wanted to talk about sport and just to say, you know, I'm an athlete, I don't want to talk about disability. And now I find it very interesting in a very positive way that the Paralympic athlete and the Canadian Paralympic Committee has really positioned itself as, you know, we are tough. Athletes are tough, but there's a story that comes with it, you know, because Paralympic athletes have a journey that is sometimes different and very unique, and it makes them tougher.
I wish that people could see as well, or even experience. I don't know how there's a way for people who are able-bodied to experience. I'll show you some pictures. Rob Pizzo, who's our sportscaster in the mornings, and I at the Paralympic, at the Pan Am Games. Okay, here we are. We tried wheelchair basketball. Now, we're both pretty athletic. It was ridiculously hard. You know, if you, and we're not anywhere near the elite level. Just to have a sense of how to compete, and then, of course, as you say, with the story behind.
It is a great way to learn, and we always try to get people to try. And wheelchair basketball is one sport that needs so much. It requires so much skills, and even sometimes myself I'm in a wheelchair, but you put me in a wheelchair basketball game, and I'm just useless because
but you can't put them
it's
on
a
the
talent, you know.
That's right. They couldn't go 36 kilometers beside you on the track.
Yeah, that's my only hope is to escape.
Okay, so now that we're talking about positive things, that it is moving in a good direction, I'm concerned about Rio. Just reading 10%. So let's go back to London for a second. That was a high water mark. Record attendance for the Paralympic Games in London, record broadcast distribution. In Rio, only 10% of Paralympic tickets have been sold so far, and we're 193 days out. Are you concerned about a retrograde step?
We are still hoping that, you know, it will happen, and it will happen very quickly at some point. Everybody will get into the movement. It's true that, I mean, we cannot compare with London because UK is the birthplace of the Paralympic movement, and it was to be expected that every games and every event would be filled. Rio is a little more challenging. I understand it is also a little more challenging even for the Olympics, but I think it will, you know, like they still have to start with doing a little more advertising, and I think the 6-month mark will be quite important. But if we look at, and my only concerns is the athletes, you know, are they going to be competing in a high performance environment? And on that side of things, I'm completely confident. They've built top-notch facilities, fully accessible sport facilities as well, the village and everything. So our athletes will be good.
In the village.
In the village.
Outside, though, Rio is a very inaccessible city. That might be a challenge, too.
It is a challenge, like it was in Beijing. You know, Beijing was not the most accessible place on earth. And that's when Paralympic Games, you know, that's not why they do them, but they have such an amazing side effect socially after the Games, all that legacy of inclusion. And of course, I mean, Rio, when the athletes will get out of their competition venue or out of the village, it might not be the most accessible place on the planet. But at the same time, they've done a lot of work, and it will stay to this country after. So it's positive.
Just before I let you go, I have to ask about the issue that's overshadowing both Olympic and Paralympic Games to come. Concerns about Zika for yourself, for the team members? Are you talking to them about that?
Yes,
are you preparing to keep them safe?
We are prepared. We're very confident. Our medical team here in Canada is in full contact with the Rio organization. So we're feeling confident that everything is really taken care of, and we keep an eye on it, and we have no doubt that our athletes will be safe.
That sounds good. 193 days, September the 7th for the opening ceremony. We will see you and the rest of that glorious team going into the stadium. Thank you so much for coming in, Chantal, and best of luck at the tour and the games to come.
Absolutely.